Their broadcast, the showboat.
Is it my turn?
It's go. Do it.
I'm not going to sing.
But you look so good, Ross. Y'all, don't you think he looks amazing?
Yeah, I am using Mike Murphy's studio. Mike Murphy Unplugged is the podcast. You got to check that out. But thanks to Mike for letting me use his studio. He's got great lighting, great microphone. I'm like in heaven here. So
you are looking quite snazzy. I know. I was telling you offline. I have a studio envy right now because you do just the black. I mean, it's like Battlestar Galactica for crying out loud or something. You look all or Star Wars or something cool. It looks awesome. Hey, Sandra D.
Yeah, I feel like I'm back in a radio studio with the soundproofing and everything. It's just so cool.
It's cool. You're still in Florida, right?
I'm still in Florida for the rest of this week.
Gosh, you're down in Florida. Are you like moving to Florida? Because I feel like you're in Florida for a long time.
It's a nice break, yeah. But no, I'm not moving to Florida. I'll be back my usual haunting ground.
Well, you missed being up in New England during the whole, brouhaha after the Super Bowl. So there's that. You were far away from that.
And what was that exactly?
Well, I guess there were like people celebrating and tipping over cars. It's the typical reaction after, a major sporting event.
In Philadelphia? Huh? You mean in Philadelphia?
Yes. Well, that's New England. It's New England, right? Is my geography just off?
Yeah, we don't consider New Jersey and Pennsylvania New England.
Really?
The mid-Atlantic states.
Okay. I guess I wouldn't have. I don't know. What do I know? I think I've been up through there once. What would you consider Colorado? Which is where I'm from.
I would consider it the Middle West. Not the far west, but like the Mountain West or something like that.
Southwest. We technically are Southwest. Mountain state.
Is Arizona, parts of Texas, New Mexico.
We have parts of our state are in the South.
Maybe Southern California. I don't know. That's what I consider the South. Oklahoma.
The South. No. Oh, come on. Dust. Yeah, see, Sandy knows she's the mountains.
We're all allowed to have our own definitions, right? I mean, for the border states, right?
That's right. We just know we're not on the coast. And also, by the way, you guys...
what I kind of was trying to say by...
Well, by the way, guys, if the world floods and the zombie apocalypse happens, Denver's the place to be. We are higher than everybody. We will last the longest. So I am out here to survive, people. I don't know why I went all macabre on that. Jeez. I was like, wow, I'm just to talk about end of days. Anyway, happy live streaming. Woo!
You'll still be on Facebook Live from the top of the world.
I will be. And
live stream news. What is going on, Rachel?
Well, Facebook did not, in fact, vanish. It's still here.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, I believe it. I got nothing. I'm just going to be honest. You guys, I researched through all my normal little daily feeds. I go through ad week. I go through social media week. I go through Facebook's own blog. Old news on there. So I didn't really find anything breaking. I don't know if you encountered anything. Have you heard or seen anything interesting about live streaming?
Well, I saw Snapchat's did very well in their latest earnings report, their fourth quarter earnings report. And so the stock price has gone up after they had kind of been on a decline, and they got a lot more users. I don't believe that has anything to do with the redesign that they're doing or anything like that, but that's something. I haven't been over to Snapchat in a year and a half, so they've got to do more than put out a nice earnings report to lure me back in. I've heard some good things about what they're trying to do, but I don't know. Mixed reviews so far on the redesign that they're working on.
Yeah, I guess, if they had a good thing with stocks in the last 24 hours, at least somebody did. That was the big news yesterday. So I'm glad they're doing well.
Yeah. No, that's about all I've got. There was somebody who worked for Facebook whose job was to follow basically do like a focus group of everything that Zuckerberg was saying, and minute to minute how the audience was responding to his messages, his talks about Facebook, about politics, about things like that. And the guy stayed for about 6 months and left, and he has an NDA, so he didn't really get into like a lot of specifics, but basically he didn't really seem to like the job, although he did take it, so it wasn't like they told him what it wasn't going to be. But I mean, there's plenty that we can complain about Facebook, right? But I don't see anything wrong with when you have public figures like Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg and people like that. If you want to know what the public resonates with and what they don't resonate with, sometimes, you know, it can be vanity and sometimes it can be just marketing, but sometimes it lets you know that you're going in the wrong direction on something or whatever. So I don't think that's such a bad thing. As far as like the comments that Facebook, you know, isn't really doing good for the world or whatever, it's a business, you know? I mean, like, I don't know that that's their job, although they talk about it enough that one could try and hold them accountable to the values that they espouse or whatever. But I didn't think that whatever it was made like this big story, like, oh my God, they're following, you know, how people respond to them. Like, you know, that is somehow unique amongst businesses or, you know, personal brands or whatever. And of course it's not at all. So I wasn't really sure why it was a big story, but it seemed like kind of a big story. So,
see, look, and Jason's giving you some love, saying you look very Star Wars. See, that's what I said. Star Wars, like you look like you're on the Death Star, or Darth Vader's going to walk in any moment and force choke you, or maybe me because he wants you to win.
What's all these the violent imagery and the world going? Like what happened today, Rachel? Was it
I don't know. It's Tuesdays. You know, Tuesdays they're a hard day. I mean, this is a highlight of my Tuesday every week because a Tuesday's a nothing day. Anybody else feeling that?
The highlight of your it's the highlight of life doing this.
Oh yes, it is. Let's be honest. But because Mondays, you know, it's got its own like, oh, it must be a Monday. Feels like a Monday. It's first day of the week. Wednesdays are the middle of the week. Thursdays are almost the end of the week. They're the day before Friday, and then Friday's the end of the week for a traditional work week. Tuesdays are nothing. There's nothing about Tuesdays other than Best of BeLive. So this is the moment I look forward to all day. And here we are. And yes, Angelica says Tuesday is the Monday of hump day, which is true. That is the truth.
Tuesday is like the day you really have to work hard. Like Monday, you can sort of pretend you're easing back from the weekend. But Tuesday, there's no more pretending. Like the weekend is long over now. You're back at work. Maybe you tried to avoid some things on Monday. By Tuesday, they're still sitting there, and you can't really let them go anymore. So I always look at Tuesday, the hardest working day of the week.
Yeah, it was rough. So, but yeah, I'm glad to be here with you. And, you know, albeit there not being any live streaming news, we're here. I did, I don't know did you watch any cool live streams this last week or were on any? Cause I know part of what I'm going to talk about today was one of my picks. I think had a kind of a major live stream with their milestone that they did, but anything else that you saw this last week for live streaming?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm going to bring up my pick as well. He actually had a great live stream the other day about why you should live stream. So I did watch that very closely, and I checked out a bunch of different shows, but I'm trying to do a little vacation in here as well, so haven't been quite as on top of stuff as I normally am, but it's still a lot of people doing good stuff. I'm excited about what Owen's doing with BeLive Weekly on Mondays.
Yeah.
And, you know, our whole lineup of shows is pretty exciting, and glad that Owen's kind of joined the fold and he's doing his thing on Mondays.
Well, and to answer Jason asked earlier in the comments, is Owen an option? A week late to the game, Jason. Owen was actually on last week. We did a special episode with him where he shared so many good nuggets about live streaming and just how to do it right. People asked him about lighting, about studio, audio, in just content. It was really good. So that was really fun. And I love doing those. I know you and I both like doing those little one-off special episodes and stuff. So that was good stuff.
Owen was our first Best of BeLive winner. Owen and Nick Nimmin.
That's right.
The Business of Video podcast. So he was actually my pick the first week. At that time, I don't believe he was with BeLive, or if he wasn't, he certainly wasn't a show host at that time for BeLive, but he was using BeLive. Did that make sense? So
that does, and that I feel like that. I feel like that increases the stakes for our picks this week. What would happen? What's going to happen if you guys win? If your pick wins or my pick wins, you don't know what's going to happen. Maybe someday you'll be a host on BeLive. I'm just saying, things happen. We make things happen here.
Speaking of making things happen,
yes.
Shall we introduce our first pick?
We should. Now remind me who's going first.
Well, you
always know this.
It's a complicated issue today, Rachel, because this is an odd episode, right? This is episode 21. So normally I go first on odd episodes, except that last week we didn't have any picks. So I'm going to leave it up to you whether you want to go first or you'd like me to go first.
You know what? I will go first. I am going to share my screen really quick and get that going because I was, you know, how you deal with bandwidth and stuff like that. And I don't know if Tuesday heard me talking and it's like, oh, really? We're going to give you some trouble now. But I was just trying to salvage my bandwidth to make sure I've got enough. But I will bring up my pick for the week. Dun, 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 is the Appy Hour.
Yes.
With Nguyen and Angelica and they are the hosts of Mobile Chat, hashtag Mobile Chat. I love these guys for one thing because I've known them for a while. I've actually engaged in Mobile Chat. I did today because it was like, oh my gosh, I can't stay away today because they're awesome. But so those are my picks for this week. It is a two host, much like our show. They co-host together on this live stream. They broadcast to a Facebook group. So again, something I was really excited to bring forth. Ross, you and I have run into this where when we're on a quest to find Facebook live streams that are used from BeLive, a lot of the time we're not able to do ones that are to groups specifically because if you and I aren't a member of the group, we don't get to see them. Right. And thus it might be kind of hard. So I am a member of this group and I knew about it. And it's also a great use case, guys, to say, hey, particularly in today's world of algorithms and Facebook timelines, how can you hack that a bit and make sure you are going to a really targeted audience that is dedicated? These ladies have done it. So going through some of their videos, and I'm going to go ahead and solo shot so you guys can see. Going through some of their videos, they are getting some really solid views considering today's algorithm shift. So a lot of times lately, we can drill into this a little bit later, with the new algorithm, if you're a page and you're going live, you're usually lucky to get 100, maybe 200 views right off the bat. These ladies are getting at least, looks like about an average of like 70 something views on their videos, but then upwards into the hundreds and even 200s based on the topic and stuff. So that is impressive considering it's a group. It's not a page going out to the general public or the wide public. It's going to their targeted group and people who are in there. So I find that to be incredibly impressive that they're getting those good numbers. So as you can see, I've got some clips going here. You can see the featured guests. Mia Voss was a guest on their video at one point. We'll see Eric Young, I believe, is up there too. And I apologize if I'm mispronouncing his name. Angelica's totally going to correct me later if I'm wrong. And I am okay with that because I want to make sure I get things right. But so it's great because I love this. They really do pattern their video to match their content. Their chat is about mobile. Their chat is about apps that are on mobile. And I like that you get them on the screen and they are very much in a mobile atmosphere. You always see them in different environments. Sometimes one of them is outside, one of them is indoors. I happen to know Anne really likes to go to a local Starbucks and broadcast from there. You'll see in a couple of these clips where they're all three. So it'll be two of them will be Anne and Angelica and then one of their guests, and there Eric just popped up. He's in his car. They're all totally mobile. And it really meets the content of what they're driving at with mobile chat and Appy Hour, and they're using apps to go live. I love this. I love that you really get the feel of what they're presenting through their content. And plus, they're both really good. I love their conversationalism of it. You can see right there also that they are really kind of running through their paces with using the BeLive features. So if you guys think back and remember, we had some really nice Christmas and some festive holiday gear that they gave us, some environments, and they're using the snow right there, which I love. They were using that right around that and featuring the things that they were talking about. So I know Anne was in Houston, totally not snowing there, but they were able to add the snow anyway. So that was really nice. So I love that they really make the use of their space. They're obviously really having to utilize the cellular networks and the Wi-Fi. I find that to be brave of them, as well as really trying to stay in the context of what they're presenting, because we've all been there. Ross, you and I have been there. We're even there, kind of there right now, because you're in a studio not familiar to you and you're using some bandwidth. I'm doing my best to use some bandwidth, and I know my videos and having some interesting things tonight. We're always struggling with that whole signal and the Wi-Fi issue. They go all in. Appy Hour is all in with making sure they're mobile, bringing on their guests. And we've talked about this too, the fact that even if you do get a bit of a digitized visual, the audio is key. And they really do make that happen through BeLive. And so I love that they give you all that range of different guests, different topics. There's one point in one of these videos where Angelica talks about it being like the 400 and something app that she downloads. Like, she's downloading an app right on her phone during the live broadcast, which I love. Again, very brave, considering that you're like, wow, really? Because you have Wi-Fi that you're trying to live stream with. And but it works, and I love it. So you can tell these women are very dedicated to their content. And again, I'm a big proponent too. They're making this a dual purpose thing. They have a Twitter chat that they do strictly on Twitter with hashtags, but they've added this live stream component to it. And it really does support their show. It supports their community and helps add that extra content piece to it, where if people are not in a Twitter feed and not necessarily able to keep up with that, and do the typing and that's it, they're able to come by and still partake of their content through the live stream. So I feel like they get it all the way around. They're mobile, they're casual, they're fun, they get great guests on. They really do get some really quality topics and guests that are about mobile apps on their show. And I, for all of those reasons, am so happy to pick Appy Hour, which again is like the best name ever, for my pick for this week's Best of BeLive. And Russ, tell me what you think about it, because I love them.
So there's kind of a debate going forward is what will be the role of live streaming, right? Will a live stream show be the destination, or will it be a utility to promote other things like a Twitter chat, for example, or a product or an event or whatever? So I love how they use Appy Hour to support what's really one of the best Twitter chats out there. They had Aaron Roth on from Archon Mounts, who we had on a few weeks back. Great guest. Great topic, talking about live streaming today, and so that was a great show. But I love what they do. I love their energy, how genuinely interested and excited they are about the apps that they talk about, and in reviewing them, how open and welcoming they are to their audience. How, as you mentioned, they're willing to experiment and try different things. I love seeing like the frames. They've got the holiday frames up. I don't know whether that was one of ours now or that was one that they designed, but it looks really cool. Great guests. Seeing Mia Voss right now. So I really like what they're doing. And it's a great way to extend the conversation from the Twitter chat, which is so text-based, obviously, and to really get to know them, hear their laughter, hear their personality, hear their insights, see how they respond in real time to questions and comments and each other's, the chemistry that they have and everything else. It's a fantastic show. I love what they're doing, and I hope they stick with live streaming as really an integral part of their entire content creation that they're doing.
Me too. And I will say I was not swayed at all by the fact that I think in one of these clips they actually give you and I a shout out for saying we're the reason, and not even like related to the show. So there's my out, but just saying that, you know, you and I are so in on live streaming and are like, no, you should live stream that they got addicted to it, and here we are. And again, they're using a great platform, BeLive. So I think we can take a little bit of credit, just a little, for the fact that they're live streaming, but they do so great. They're just a really fun show, and for anyone who's into tech stuff, which I think is a common theme for our picks tonight. They're an awesome show to be watching, so love them.
Awesome. Great pick.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I am keen to see who you've got, because once again, we've got a really good team matchup here, as you were mentioning earlier. So tell us about your pick, Ross.
So I am picking Eddie Garrison. Eddie is the founder of Clover Media, and he goes live, I believe, 3 times a week, and just delivers great information. Basically, his live streams are about live streaming, about getting started with live streaming, about all the different things that you need to know as somebody getting started or trying to improve at live streaming. He covers everything from why you should live stream, which is his most recent one, and it's great for anybody who wants to make a case to their boss or to a colleague about why they should bring live streaming into their business, or if you have your own business or you're a solopreneur and you're thinking that live streaming could be useful. Watch that video and get a sense of the case that Eddie makes. It's really strong about the different ways that you can use live streaming. He talks about live streaming for events. He talks about telling your story through live streaming. And it's just very impressive video. Also, he's done videos on using audio, how to get good audio, how to get good video, how to get good lighting, how to get started. If you're getting started, he's focused on tools for mobile video. He's really run the gamut. And, you know, one of the things that we've seen people do with live streaming is over time, they have a whole body of work that they can make into anything from a book to an ebook to, a course. And he's putting together all those pieces. And I'm interested to actually ask him in the next half hour if any of that is being done intentionally or he's just talking about it because he's passionate about it. But it's really well done. His logo right now, it's kind of covered by our logo, but he's got a really nice logo. Everything's very clean. It's simple. It's easy to follow. It's professional. His logo looks great. The lower third, the color choice and the font and everything looks great. He uses it basically as almost like chapter headings, right? He's going to talk about your story. He'll post that. He's going to talk about lighting. He'll mention that in the lower third. He also uses the ability to bring up comments and questions. And I like the fact that when he starts his videos, he introduces himself and the topic. He gets into it fairly quickly, comes in with high energy. There's very little downtime in his videos. The ability to provide information without using a slideshow, without taking yourself off camera for 20 minutes, a half an hour, 35 minutes. It's not easy to just deliver that information in a way that's informative and entertaining and keep, doesn't break that momentum. And I think that's one of the things that I find most impressive about what he does. He's got a solid voice. He's got a nice delivery, good pacing. And, he's got great lighting. The whole package comes together. If there was one thing I would say, and this is something that I've been certainly guilty of, although not today, obviously. But the background, maybe a couple things with the background, to get it to where it's sort of representative, easy for me to say, representative of the kind of work that he's doing, because he's really providing great information and all his branding that he does, whether it's the promo cards that he does for upcoming videos, whether it's some of the social media stuff around live video or around social media content that he does on Instagram and other social platforms. Everything's really well designed and well thought out, really well organized, and provides value. So I would say that the background is the one thing he could do to meet the rest of the great stuff that he's doing. But I'm really proud to make Eddie Garrison my pick this week. I think he's doing a great job introducing people to live streaming and helping them really become a little bit better and a little more comfortable at live streaming, and then learn how to use it for their business and for their brand and to create good content. So congratulations to Eddie. He's doing a tremendous job with live streaming.
I like this pick too, and I love that he does reviews. I know you hear about like these kids. I think what was it, like a 6-year-old or 7-year-old that apparently they open toys on YouTube and they get like paid all the money in the world. Eddie, may that happen with you, because we all want to make all the bank with doing the things we love. But I tell you, between both of our picks too, there's such value there where you want. I mean, reviews are a huge mainstay today of how people make decisions, purchasing decisions or testing things out. So I love his choice to do that and to make it be educational too, because I saw that you'd mentioned his videos. He does reviews, but he also does how-tos. I'm a huge believer in how-to, as you know, and I've got my own YouTube channel where there's just a lot of like quick little thing, how to do this. It's invaluable. And that's what people, I mean, that really is. It's all about that kind of inbound marketing, that inbound content where you're like, I'm going to give you something that you need. Right. I'm not going to charge you for it. I'm going to provide it to you. But then you're seen and you build your credibility and your thought leadership. And that's what he's doing. And it's a great way to go and a great way to build. And really, you can, as you had mentioned, he can cross that with anything, with any business he's in, any role he fills. That credibility of being on screen and having that live video to always point back to and say, yeah, I shared this the other day. So it's great that I agree with you too about his background. We can all work on our background and work on the little things in our mise en scène. I always like to say what we're showing people in the frame. But at the same time, when we're about to have him on, he's got his branding going on. I mean, he's going to come on with a big bright blue shirt that says Facebook on it, and it matches his stuff. And again, I'm having, yeah. And just as I'm having studio envy of you tonight, I'm having branding envy of him tonight, because I want my own shirt that says Best of BeLive. That'll have to be coming down the pipe. But that's right. But I agree with you. I think he does a lot of things. He crosses a lot of T's, dots a lot of I's with his content. The consistency is so key too. I love that you mentioned he goes live 3 times a week. So without fail, he's putting out this content and getting that in the cycle. And so people know to expect it. Guys, anytime we're talking about successful content delivery, consistency is a main thing. You have to show up and be there, at least to give people something every time they expect it. It's like Christmas. It's supposed to show up every once a year. And if it didn't, be like, what? Or Valentine's Day, everybody's favorite holiday coming up. I hate it, but it's here every year. And that consistency is key to marketing. It's why people expect to go out and spend all the money. And Eddie is out there to make sure that he's adding that value to himself and his personal brand and any brand he ties himself to. So I think he's nailing it on the head. And I am impressed with your pick this week, Ross. I'm not going to lie.
And now, thanks to us, Eddie's on a 4th time this week. So he'll be with us shortly, as will Ann and Angelica from Appy Hour. But first, we do have this little voting thing that we do each week. Rachel,
yes.
Tell them how they can participate.
I will tell you how to vote. And really quick, before we do that, if you have not yet, I think this is a great matchup, as Ross had mentioned. Please share the show, because the more people that vote, this gets a lot more interesting, if you know what I'm saying. So please share the show if you haven't yet. If you haven't shared it to that one group or that one timeline, you should totally share it, because we're going to get this going. So it's really easy to vote. It's not very technical at all. We don't have a counter or anything like that, other than me. I'm the counter.
Rachel is the counter.
I am. I'm the counter. All you got to do, though.
Count to BeLive. Oh, what?
I could be the count of the count from Sesame Street. 1, because that's how geeky I am. All you have to do, guys, to vote is you have to think of our names. So Ross brought forth his pick, Eddie Garrison. If you like Eddie, if you like him for this week's pick, all you got to do is type Ross's name because Ross is the one who picked him, right? So type Ross in your comment if you want to vote for Eddie. If you want to vote for my pick, Appy Hour with Anne and Angelica, I'm the one who brought that pick, so you would type Rachel into your comment because I'm the one who picked them. It's easy as pie, and it's Ross and Rachel. See what I'm saying? Any friends, fans out there who haven't yet put that together? Come on. But that's how it's your turn to vote, and you only need to vote once. And if you want to reserve your vote until after you get to our next segment, which is hearing from the hosts, that's totally fine because our hosts might sway you a little bit based on what they say and how they respond to our questions and comments. So totally fine. I just got a comment saying I am hilarious. I am. I try.
Now, I'm
a little funny.
Ross and Rachel hashtag?
I'm scared to put that out there because I mean, there are, as much as I can play off with the Ross and Rachel, I don't want to I'm never going to absorb that hashtag. That's a losing battle, Ross. We're not going to be able to take that hashtag.
Take over that hashtag, but maybe there's a few friends. I didn't realize it was such a popular hashtag because I think of Friends as kind of being over before the, but obviously it's very popular in reruns. So
he didn't say that out loud, anyone. He did not say it.
It's not over. It's not over.
It's not over. No, Friends is in syndication, bro. They are out there. It is happening.
So
yeah.
One of those fans will click, that hashtag, and all of a sudden they'll see the show and they'll go, wow, that BeLive thing is cool. Maybe not.
And I love Angelica is actually singing the song to me in the comments.
You don't want to waste one of your 30 hashtags.
It's gonna be this way. You guys all wanted to clap. I saw her in the lobby. All right, you know what? Is it time? Can we bring up our host? I'm gonna and we'll go in order if that's okay. Is that okay? Go in order when we brought up. So Ross, may I pop you down for a little bit while I bring up both of my hosts because I have two?
I'm going to kick up my feet for a few minutes and you take over.
You kick up your feet. He going to kick up his feet. So I'm going to bring up Angelica and Anne, are the two hosts of my pick for this week, Appy Hour. And ladies, welcome to Best of BeLive.
Hey.
Hey. You're so on. You're on the screen with me. I'm so excited.
I can't tell. This is a different setup.
I know. Well, because you guys, you're in the host. You're usually in the host seat, so this must be a little bit different, I would imagine.
It is a little bit different, and this is so funny because Angelica and I were texting each other earlier, going, "How are they going to have 4 people on?" And I was like, Maybe they have special BeLive features that we don't have as normal people.
We were having straight up
eventually we'll have it. Yeah, eventually we'll have it, but I have to believe that eventually we're going to be able to have more than 3 people in. But I was like, but at the same time, I get to kick Ross out for just a little bit, and then it's just the girls in here, so it's kind of fun.
Yay!
So now I think you guys just celebrated a 2-year milestone. Is that correct? Tell us about that.
Yeah, we did. I relaunched mobile chat at the beginning of 2016. And I was thinking, wow, it was longer, but it's really just been 2 years. And as you know, Rachel, there's been changes over the last couple of years. When I relaunched it, I kind of just adopted the old slot that it was in the evenings, and it was just getting harder and harder with my responsibilities for different charities and stuff like that, and then doing it all by myself, and again, that's how difficult it is to do a weekly Twitter chat by yourself. So I brought on a couple of people different times and things, and then finally I was like, oh, why don't I ask Angelica, because she guest hosted for us a few times and was phenomenal. And it only made sense because she's as much of a technophile as I am, and probably even more of a mobile app addict than I am.
I think hands down, I'm definitely take the cake on the mobile addiction, especially from the app perspective.
Yes, with you, my friend. So, and it just really makes sense to have her as a co-host because she is always up on all of the mobile stuff, more so than I am even, and I love it because she keeps me abreast of everything. And so, and then we made the change to daytime because it just made sense for the both of us. And here we are 2 years later.
That's amazing. Angelica, how's the ride been for you? I mean, with, being asked to join and be a co-host, and I just saw you kind of sink your teeth into doing Appy Hour. So can you tell us a little bit about that too, with adding live streaming too?
When she asked me, it was almost like a no-brainer. It's like she knew that I was waiting for somebody to ask me to be a co-host for them. So it's just really perfect. And I think adding the live stream element has been a lot of fun for Ann and I to really experiment, kind of like what you were talking about earlier, just the natural casualness of just us talking, but then sharing this conversation that we both really love, that 1 hour a week in a Twitter chat doesn't necessarily satiate that kind of obsession that I think that we both have when it comes to mobile and tech. So it's been fun.
Totally. Well, and it kind of came about because during mobile chat, we would have people tweeting to us about different apps they'd used. And so Angelica and I were like, oh, we should really have people talking about apps that they love, whether it's for work or just for fun. But I didn't really want to do a whole other Twitter chat. I thought, oh,
right,
we should do live streaming because we were both, starting to really like it. And because you and Ross, we always give you guys credit. You and Ross had kind of given us that bug of live streaming.
Yeah. How has it been to, and I mentioned this when we were talking about when we featured your clip earlier, how has it been to broadcast into a group? Because I find that I wish more people would do that. Do you find that it's a great way, or, a preferred way, I guess, to get your live stream out there to the audience that you want to see it?
I'll go. I think so. And like I said, because it kind of spawned off of our Twitter chat, mobile chat, it only made sense for us to go ahead and do the live stream in the group. And so, and hopefully that'll be a way for us to grow the group or the community as well. So,
right. How about you, Angelica?
I kind of feel like the group, there's a different dynamic from an engagement perspective. It feels a lot more laid back, which I think is kind of our speed, but I think it also is a really great pairing to the chat, the Twitter chat itself. So we've had a really good time with it so far.
Have you, and I've done this, and I know you both know this, but I did one time do a Twitter chat plus live stream, and it was at the same time simultaneously. Like, you don't do that though, right? I think you have the Twitter chat separate, and then you do Appy Hour at a different time, right?
Exactly.
I love you for doing all that. That was amazing when you had Let's Live Stream. I don't know how you did it, because the one time a week is like, oh, okay, this is a lot. It's a lot to do. And so to have that on top of the chat, I don't know how you did it at all.
I didn't really. It was I faked it.
Well, you faked it really well, my friend, because, oh my gosh, I can barely keep up with a Twitter chat when we're doing the chat, much less do live streaming and the chat at the same time. And even as it is, for Appy Hour, I'm like, oh, I don't want to miss everybody's comments. And I'm going, how do you do this? Go back and forth, because the BeLive comments don't quite come up at the same time. And so I'm like missing stuff. It is what it is.
How is it different than, so for anyone who is watching this live or replay, they may not be familiar with the Twitter chat, which Twitter is just one of the fastest cycling social media platforms and feeds out there. How is it different to be manning a Twitter chat versus hosting that live stream and then interacting with the comments that way?
Because it's in real time on the live stream. It's real time in the chat as well, but we have the luxury, I guess, if you will, of scheduling, say, the questions and things. So then that gives us the time to engage with chat attendees and answer questions in real time. So that piece is great, because that's taken care of. But then in a live stream, it's it's live, it's on, it's this conversation that's going real time, and you just kind of have to play it by ear and wing it the best you can, I guess.
Right.
It's definitely been a learning experience. I know that you were talking earlier about bandwidth and about being on Wi-Fi, and we're in public places a lot of times when we're in our own respective place, because the whole essence of Appy Hour was also a play off of happy hour and having a drink and all that other stuff. It's difficult to manage the Twitter chat already as it is. It's really fast paced and just intense. And then when you're live streaming, it's kind of the same thing. You're managing multiple things that could go wrong, just in the same way that you are managing multiple things that are happening during a Twitter chat too. So it's been it's just, learning to multitask in a different way.
Yes, very much. Well, hey, let's do this a little bit round robin. So Angelica, I'm going to pop you out briefly, and then I'm going to bring Ross in, and then I'm going to pop myself out, and we'll put you back in so he can chat with you for a couple minutes to round this out. So ladies, thank you so much. I will pop Angelica out, and I will bring Ross in, and I'm going to head out. So Angelica, come.
Oh, it's like musical chairs here.
It is. Hi, Ross.
Hey, Ann, how are you?
Hey, Ross. You guys do that so seamlessly well. That's awesome.
Because we tried to do that recently, and we kicked everybody off. Or I kicked everybody off. I shouldn't say we. I kicked everybody off. But Ross, considering you have limited bandwidth, you look awesome. Like there's no pixelation or anything.
Well, I went over to a friend's who has very good bandwidth. So
okay.
It's all working well. My good friend Mike Murphy, who hosts Mike Murphy Unplugged podcast, invited me to use his studio, and I'm loving it. So
yeah, I can see why. It looks phenomenal.
And where are you today?
Me, I am at my sister's house, so I'm mobile again. So that's why I was like, okay, I've got to find a nice spot somewhere that that doesn't look crazy or whatever to be. But I have started trying to gather things and thinking about what I have a guest room in my house that I can use as my live streaming studio, if you will. So I was like, ooh, all the things I need to get.
So today's Twitter chat was amazing. Today's mobile chat. What did you guys take away from today's chat that you might incorporate in one of your live stream shows?
Oh gosh, so much. So much. I mean, it truly was really phenomenal. Aaron has some great tips and just advice about how to engage, and like he's across all these different platforms. I'm just still trying to just hang on to BeLive.
Right. He's Facebook Live after he had been kind of going all in on Instagram and doing a little less on Facebook, or at least not talking about it as much. Now he's saying, hey, there's a lot of opportunity here again on Facebook.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I actually was really eager to hear about how he uses hashtags on Facebook, mostly just because I personally really kind of don't like them. I think it looks kind of dirty in the post itself. But hearing that they have a lot of success in incorporating them in their posts, it was like, okay, this is awesome. Maybe I should actually start doing this more often. So it was a great chat today.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's a lot that I'm going to take back definitely and incorporate in more live streaming stuff. And I really loved your LinkedIn tidbit there, Ross. I had, that you have more engagement or more views from the video on LinkedIn. I've not tried it at all. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm loving LinkedIn for posting recorded videos. I do all my live shows here on Facebook, and use BeLive for just about all of them. But for posting recorded videos, I've been finding that if I take a clip from a show and I put it on LinkedIn, I'm getting far more views for that clip than I am putting the same thing on Facebook as a recorded video, or even sometimes more views than I would get on Instagram. So it's you got to go where the eyeballs and the attention is, and LinkedIn's becoming a lot more social.
That's interesting. And do you think they'll eventually incorporate a LinkedIn Live and allow live streaming on there? Because right now it's just recorded video, right? If I'm not mistaken.
But you can imagine what's going to happen to some careers when LinkedIn goes to live, right? Because employers, a lot of them try not to be on top of what people are doing on Facebook, but obviously they're all connected to you on LinkedIn. Yeah. There's no room for certain things on LinkedIn that you might get away with elsewhere. So that'll be interesting. Anyway, congratulations to both of you. This is so great to chat with you again, and you do a wonderful show, and I can't wait to see how it continues to develop.
Well, it means so much to us to hear that from both of you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much.
All right, I'm going to bring Rachel back up. And terrific pick, Rachel, and terrific guest, as always. And let's move on to my selection of Eddie Garrison and bring him in to join our conversation here. Hey, welcome, Eddie. How are you?
Hey, guys, what is up? Thanks for having me on. And Ross, thanks for picking me. I've always used to get picked last, and now I'm all of a sudden a first pick of somebody. I'm just pumped. I almost emailed my mom.
I would love it if your mom was in the comments.
I don't know if you changed anything. Your audio is just awesome. It sounds like you even stepped it up a level from some of the videos I had watched.
I just tried a different approach on the gain on the back because I'm using a Blue Yeti mic because it's quick and it's easy, and it just plugs right into the USB. Also put a pop filter on it that I bought for $3 on Amazon. So I think that really helps out the audio.
Don't you love it? I mean, Amazon is a live streamers. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Before we dive too much anything, I did want to give Ann and Angelica a shout out. Congratulations, ladies, on 2 years. Their success with the Twitter chat and continued success with Appy Hour. I've tuned in and I enjoy the show. So keep it up, ladies. Nice job.
Classy. Very classy, Eddie.
Gentlemen. So, no, one of the things I mean, just in noticing that, okay, your audio sounds better today than it did on a video that I watched recently. I mean, I love the fact that you're teaching other people and helping them get started, but as a pro yourself, you continue to develop and experiment and get better. Talk about how that kind of mindset kind of informs how you help other people and, how you're able to stay on top of what's going on with social media.
Right. Well, for one thing, I hardly ever sleep. So I'm always looking for the newest tech out there. And I don't mean just the newest tech and, oh, wow, a new $2,000 camera came out. I need to get that. That's just not in the cards for me. And I don't think that's in the cards of a lot of my audience who I'm not pandering to, but, creating the content for. So, as a small business owner, working with other small business owners, even before I owned my own company, I think a lot of people just have a hard time finding and understanding where to start in something new. So I've kind of taken that out of the equation for them because I've tested this equipment. I run this equipment every single day and every time that I go live, even if it's for myself or for one of the brands that I work with my company, Clover Media. So anytime that I recommend something or I'm talking about something to somebody, say, you know what, check this out. Maybe you need to use this. I've used it, real world testing, and it works and it can work for you.
I love how you bring in the Clover Media so smoothly, without even a breath, without even stopping. It was just so smoothly brought in. Doesn't bother anybody. Nobody's going like, shameless self-promoter. It was done perfectly.
Right.
This guy's got the timing. So what I'm interested in knowing is for people who are using BeLive and they're using their built-in webcam and they're using, maybe they're using earbuds or something like that. What are a couple things that they can do, without spending a ton of money to up their game a little bit and to improve the quality of what they're presenting?
That's a great question, and it's usually the very first one that when somebody gets into live broadcasting, that's one of the first questions they ask me. So they always say, what camera should I buy? What camera should I buy? Well, if you're not going to go live all the time from your desktop, you don't need to run out and buy a $200 Logitech camera. Use the camera on your phone. 90% of people going live right now are most likely going live from their mobile device. So these are the three things that I try to tell people and instill in them if they're going to go live from their mobile device. The first one is stability. Spend $25-$30 on one of those small tripods that clamps your phone in, so you don't have to worry about holding it and shaking it like this. And the quality of your live broadcast will greatly improve if you can use your hands and your phone is stabilized. Number 2 is, if you can't afford a mic, use your earbuds, because sound quality makes a live broadcast. People will put up with bad video quality, but if they can't hear you, they're going to drop like flies. I recommend a lot of the Rode products out there. And if not even a Rode product, there is you can get a lav mic, a little lavalier mic that plugs right into your 3.5 millimeter, headphone jack on your phone for $20. So improve the sound quality. If you want to improve the video quality just a little bit, the video quality just a little bit, you can get these clip-on lens sets for less than $30. And what it does is it clears up. The iPhone and Android cameras are good, but the lens is fixed. You can't really do anything much with it. It doesn't look high def to me a lot. So you could get these clip-on lenses for your mobile device for $30, and it gives you just a little bit wider of a shot, and it gives you a more of a DSLR look than it does as a regular mobile phone camera.
Cool.
Great advice. Rachel?
Yeah, I was wondering too what, I had such a good question too. And I was just like, now I'm all like, oh, I want to get that lens on my camera. That sounds really amazing. But so one thing that I know, we get people who are excited about live streaming. They can't wait to share their content. And the last thing any of us want to see is a feed full of webinars.
Right.
So what do you say to like people who are just trying to get in, they have content. They basically are an expert in something. They want to, impart that knowledge onto the people watching them. But then they're like, yes, and I could totally like share my PowerPoint and like share it and put slides and stuff. How do you guide them into not falling into that rut of saying, yes, turn your Facebook feed into a webinar?
Right. So yeah, I detest those too. And when I go live, I typically try to keep my streams around 10, 15 minutes. Now, some of them have run longer because there's more people in there asking questions and the engagement is just great. So I'm not going to say, oh, by the way, guys, it's 15 minutes. See you later. That's just, that's not the way to create a good brand. So what I do, if I'm going to sit down with somebody, to your example, and they have a lot of content, I just tell them, let's break it up into segments. On Monday and Friday, let's just do, on Monday, we're going to do 10, 15 minutes and we're going to cover these 3 topics.
Nice.
And leave calls to action and leave a promotional standpoint in there. So when the next time you go live, you say, and in the next episode, we're going to tackle insert A, insert B, insert C up there. And they want to do it as one big webinar, I try to stress to them that they need to keep it and break it down into different segments. Right. For not only thing, it's just retention, viewership retention, but it just gives you the ability to have more content to produce out there.
I love that. That's great guidance because I think, people just figure, I'll just sit down for an hour webinar and just hammer it out. And you're like, well, you're going to be hammering your audience's heads because they're not going to care and they're going to be like, snooze fest and stuff. Yep. So I love that. It's great guidance.
And a lot of people think it's hard to talk for an hour. It is. I mean, people think, oh, we could just do it because I typed it and I read it. There's a big difference of just typing it into, Google Slides or a PowerPoint presentation than there is sitting in front of a camera for over an hour and speaking to that little lens. Yeah.
when you prepare for teaching, because that's kind of what you're doing, but you're doing it in a very, like, conversational, easy, sort of seemingly easy delivery. What type of preparation do you do? Do you write out full sentences? Do you do bullet points? Or do you just have ideas in your head and you kind of go with it? Like, how do you prep?
How do I prep? So I have just one monitor now. I step down.
The last one, by the way.
Yeah, right. That's okay. I used to have two dual monitors, but with my setup and audio gear that's stepping up, I needed to condense down to one. So when I go live, I have a split screen. Basically, I have my BeLive on one side, and then I have basically a note section on the other. And I do bullet points of what I'm going to cover on that show because you never know live who's going to be watching. So you need to be able to transition quickly if the subject matter changes in reference to what your audience wants to talk about, because we can start a live broadcast talking about lighting for live stream, but then someone's going to say, wow, your microphone sounds really good. And you have to be able to transition very quickly into that. So I don't like writing out, a dissertation on my computer because I know I'm not going to sit there and read it. And I don't want my live broadcast to look like this, where I'm just over here reading this off this. So I just have bullet points and I just go with the flow of the broadcast and see where the audience wants to take it. Because I think a lot of people, like you said, Rachel, you don't want to come into a webinar. You want to come into a pretty laid back, relaxed learning session, if you will, on this live video. So I just make it about the audience and try to get them engaged as quickly and as much as possible during the entire broadcast.
You know, I found that watching live streams of being in this now, I do give webinars where I work, and I find that I actually incorporate, I'll flip to webcam where it's just me and it's not a slide. And it's fun because and just FYI guys, if you guys use anything like GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting, it'll actually tell you if your audience is engaged, like if the viewers are looking at the screen. And the second I go to webcam, they're back on. I can tell they're watching again. So to your point again, it's like, I think you're teaching people how to, share dynamic content that people care about, at least listening to, if not like having their eyeballs on the screen the whole time. Whereas they're not going to do that. They're like, oh, it's just a screen and a screen and a slide and a slide and a slide. Right. That person is adding so much just by virtue of them being a human being on the screen.
Exactly. I've done webinars and I'm very familiar with GoToMeeting, and I used to love it back in the early 2000s. It was great and everything like that. But with the way that live streaming is now, and the way that social media and really digital media overall is changing, it's all about engagement. It's all about your audience retention and your return audience viewership. So if you can't have them engaged quickly, if you lose them within the first 2 or 3 minutes, they're probably not going to come back and watch your next broadcast. So being able to jump into the content quickly, get the audience engaged quickly with open-ended questions or asking them, what do you currently use for, insert piece of equipment here? I think that really goes into playing into the success of your live broadcast.
We had on an earlier episode and got her prediction for live streaming in 2017. Do you have in 2018 rather? Do you have a prediction? Real quick, do you have something that you think's going to happen this year that you're looking for? What do you think?
I think that Facebook group live streaming is going to be a huge impact for a lot of people. I'm in a lot of groups. I have an own private group for, a project that I'm working on the side, where I'm going to offer once a week Q&A sessions for, the paying membership, if you will. So I think that live streaming is really going to become more customer service and question answer kind of FYI based for brands.
I guess the algorithm is limiting people. When you go live in a group, you have an audience that's either checking the group or likely has their notifications turned on and will find out about it. So it's a great way to go. Listen, Eddie, it's so great to have you on. We got to chat either offline or online a little bit longer when we have a chance. But it's good to talk to you, and thanks so much for spending some time with us.
Well, thanks for bringing me on the show, guys, and good luck to Ann and Angelica. We'll see who everyone votes for, but I really appreciate it, and we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good.
Thank you,
Eddie. All right, y'all. It's now or never. It's your turn to vote. You got to vote. You got to vote for somebody. Do one vote. Just one vote. Don't make it tough on us. Ross, how do they vote again? Want to remind?
Okay, if you'd like to vote for Eddie Garrison, my pick, you would type Ross into the chat. And if you'd like to vote for Ann and Angelica, who are Rachel's pick, you type Rachel into the chat. Very simple. Either Ross or Rachel. Just vote once because we're running out of time to count those votes.
TikTok. But we'll give them another minute or two because we are taking this right up to the end. But
we didn't get a chance to answer Angelica's question. She asked, do any of you have the Osmo Mobile? I don't. I've tried it. I have friends who use it who really love the fact that with the with a mobile phone, you get a very, very stable picture, and there's some interesting things you can do as far as how your video comes out when you're shooting with a mobile phone. So I've heard good things about it, but I have not used it myself.
I have not used it, so I have zero feedback on that. But I did. I wanted to say I did download at the behest of a person I know. I downloaded HQ the other day I bring that up because in one of the clips I grabbed of Angelica and they were talking about HQ and wanting to know more. And I got really frustrated today because I was on my lunch break and I was listening to it and I was ready to answer, and then I had to help a colleague, and so I missed it. I didn't get to play HQ, but it's one of those things that's kind of taken, it's an app taking the world by storm right now. It's really interesting, but not a live stream app though. It's just a live trivia app.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I heard about that.
There was a HuffPo article too about like, why are you doing this to us? All right. Well, you guys, if you haven't voted yet, you better do it in the next 10 seconds. Type Ross for Ross's pick or Rachel for my pick in the comment, because I got to count it up here. And if you don't vote, then I'm going to just assume you like them both, because why not? They're amazing. But yeah, and Alfredo's asking stable picture with mobile phones. Mount. Oh, and those, remember is it the Smooth? I've seen Chad Peterson with those, where it's kind of like a harness almost. You put but it balances, and like it'll make your camera just stay really, really smooth in motion.
Start with an inexpensive tripod. If you handheld tripod or mount, you don't have anything at this point, start there, and then you can figure out what you need after that. So, drum roll.
Oh, I barely got one in. Woo! Okay, so the winner is, and I only saw a couple of you. Oh gosh, now you guys are okay. Shoot, sorry. Okay, we're a deadlock. We're a deadlock tie. So basically, both of our picks win in a tie, which I think is appropriate because they're both amazing. So everybody's a winner here on Best of BeLive.
Congratulations to everybody. Everybody's a winner. Congratulations to Garrison. And congratulations to Angelica from Appy Hour. Eddie Garrison is from Clover Media Consulting, I believe it's called. If I got it wrong, Eddie, give me a thumbs down there in the lobby. Clover Media Consulting? Thumbs up. Okay, there we go. So
you got it.
We got everybody in. Ann and Angelica also host mobile chat, Twitter chat on Tuesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern.
And we are Best of BeLive. We're here every Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here next week with 2 more picks. And make sure if you want to vote for someone, you can message the BeLive Facebook page with the word nominate. Nominate, and it will send you a form. But until then, we'll see you guys next week and have a great one.